So now let's move on and do something a little more interesting. So we have our camera cinematic plays whenever our character hits a specific trigger box. So now what we want to do is run a camera sequencer at the exact same time that we run an animated object sequencer. So what we're going to do, and you can notice in the scene, I've added a box at the top of the stairs that's going to be a barrier, and I'm going to add a sequencer that moves this door down as the camera sequencer plays through. So I'm going to go into my content browser, right click, go to animation, level sequence. We're going to call this door. Going to double click, open up that sequence. I'm going to click on my cube. Then I'm going to go into the world outliner and I'm going to find that cube, drag it into the sequencer. So now I have a new timeline in the sequencer. I'm going to automatically go ahead and click on the keyframe. So that sets the keyframe at this time. Then I'm going to move to 60 frames. That's 1 second, 60 frames a second. And I'm going to move my door down to about there. And I'm going to hit keyframe again. So now if I move my time slider, you can see that the door travels down. I'm going to go ahead and shorten the length of my animation just for my personal benefit. So I can see this is the amount of time that this animation is going to take place. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And now we are going to hit play and walk over to the door, and let's make some adjustments here. So the reason it's at the space or the height that it was is because we have our animation set inside the sequencer. So let's go ahead and hit play one more time, and you should be able to see the door up. So the door is up. Okay, so now we need to tell the sequencer whenever we walk through this door and the cinematic happens to tell the door to come down at the same time. So let's go to blueprints, open our blueprint. We need to make a reference to our new sequence. So we're going to have to drag that door sequencer, place it in your level. And I like to place my sequences that control specific objects right near the object. I'm going to right click, reference to door. So there's my door node. I'm going to pull a wire off, hit play. Clean this up just a little bit. And we have play. So what's going to happen is as soon as we hit our trigger box, it's going to play our movie cinematic, and then it will play our door cinematic. This should happen fairly quickly. So we're going to make some adjustments on that as well. So I'm going to walk to the door, go in the door, cinematic happens, and you see the door come down, and you notice that the door popped back up. We want to have that door stay down whenever it comes down. So we need to go back into our door cinematic. We're going to, or sequence, excuse me, our door sequence. We're going to right click in the little blue-green area, go to properties, section, when finished, keep state. So basically what that does is after the animation plays through, it will stop on the last frame. So I'm going to go ahead and save, hit play again, walk through the door, cinematic happens, you see the door come down, and it stays. So let's slow the door down just a little bit. So let's go back to blueprints. And I want to put just a delay between the playing of the cinematic and when the door comes down. So I'm going to right click, type delay, I'm going to hook up the executable. So we activate the trigger box, it'll play the cinematic, give us a delay. I want to go a half of a second delay, and then it will play the door. So compile, save, play. We walk into the door, waits a second, and it comes down, makes it a little bit more cinematic, and now we can move on through the level. And so you can make multiple variations of this same technique, but this is pretty much the way you want to wire that up.